Welcome to the Widowed Mom Podcast, episode 214, Good Isn't Great, a love letter for widowed moms.
Welcome to the Widowed Mom Podcast, the only podcast that offers a proven process to help you work through your grief, to grow, evolve, and create a future you can truly look forward to. Here's your host, Master Certified Life Coach, Grief Expert, Widow, and Mom, Krista St-Germain.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast. I just had the coolest event at my house ever. I mean, well, maybe people aren't going to like hearing that if they've been to my house before this weekend. But oh my gosh, it was the best event. On Saturday, we had 11 of my clients come to my house and we celebrated them. We pampered them. We did hair and makeup. I brought in my amazing videographer, Matt, all the way from Utah, and my favorite photographer, Casey, who just does phenomenal work. And we took their pictures and told their stories. And then we took them out to dinner in a limo, a Hummer, mind you. It was huge. And I took them to the same restaurant where Hugo and I got married, which is always a really cool experience for me. And then on Sunday, they all came back and we coached in my living room all day long. And it was amazing. It was powerful. I love coaching and I love coaching online, but wow, there was something about coaching in person that was absolutely just amazing. So if you came, I am so glad that you came. I am so proud of how you showed up for yourself. If you missed it, don't worry. We're going to do it again. Now that I've got the taste of what that's like, that's definitely happening again. Coaching in my living room for sure. But it's so good. I'm kind of coming off of the high. But got to get this podcast out to you all. So it's going to be kind of a short one. I really want to talk to you though. Listen to me, please. And you might be in a space where you're early in grief and you're not ready for this yet, and that's okay. You can come back later. But I want to talk about how good isn't great. And sometimes what sparks this and what gets me so fired up is that I will get an email and it will say something like, you know, I'm doing better now. I'm not in so much pain. And so I don't think I need your program. Or somebody will say, you know, I think other people probably need this more than I do. And, you know, then when I ask them how they're doing, they will say, well, you know, I think I'm through the worst of it, so I probably don't need any help. I feel so conflicted when people say that because on one hand, it's so nice to hear that they're not curled up in the fetal position anymore, because I remember what it's like to be in that place where you struggle to function and it's hard to get through your day. I remember that. So on one hand, I'm happy. But then on the other hand, I get angry because I get frustrated that we live in a world where instead of being encouraged to dream big and to do big things and to chase the life that we want, we're taught to settle. Specifically women, we're taught to settle for good enough. We're taught to just be happy with what we have and give to other people. And it drives me crazy. My daughter has this saying sometimes when she thinks standards are too low. She says, the bar is on the floor, Mom. And that to me is what this is. This is the bar being on the floor. This is like, yes, of course we can get back to a life that doesn't suck. Of course we can have a life that's good enough when our spouse dies. Of course we can get used to our new normal. Of course we're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. But why are we stopping there? Can we please not stop there? So if you are in the place where you're not even to good yet, this isn't quite for you yet. At some point, this will be for you. If you're in that place where you're like, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing okay. I really want you to ask yourself, what if you were allowed to create the life you truly wanted, the next chapter you really got excited about, not just the one that gets you through the day? What if whatever that is, even if you don't know what it is, was actually possible for you? I have seen it too many times in my clients to believe the lie that you can't have it or that you need to know what you want before you go get it, right? And I'm talking about what's the thing that's been tugging at your heart forever, but you keep saying, well, that's probably not for me, or, you know, I'll let somebody else do that, or I really have other priorities. Is it a charity cause that you want to do? Is it a business idea that you have? Is it something that you want to study? Is it a money goal that you have? What do you want to do? You want to travel? Are you telling yourself you can't travel because your spouse died now? No. That's what I want for you is I want what you want. And I want you to let yourself want it. And I want it to be great. I want you to be able to experience your version of greatness. And I get that in the early days of grief, it's just darkness and it's hard to even imagine good, let alone great. So if you're in the place where it's dark, it's okay. Let's go for good first. But then when we get to good, let's go for great. Let's wake up every morning, which honestly, I feel like is where I am. Not that my life is perfect, not that it's not still hard in some places, but in that I got out of the job I didn't want to work in anymore. I created something I actually do want to do. I look forward to waking up. I like the people in my life. I like where I live. I like the money I make. I like the way I spend my time. And I can probably still make it even better, for sure. But I stopped listening to the nonsense about new normal and good is good enough. And don't be greedy. Don't be selfish. That's what we're told as women. That's crap. I'm just not having it. Okay? So it's not your fault if you're tempted to stick there. I think that is how we are socialized as women in particular. Our brains are full of self-doubt and limiting beliefs that are optional, but most of us don't know how to manage those, which is why I do what I do as a coach. That's what Mom Goes On is all about. And of course, we have primitive brains that genuinely believe that new equals dangerous. So fear and uncertainty will keep us stuck. All right. So it's not your fault that you got here, but let's dream bigger. Let's go for great. Let's not keep stopping at good. Let's not just settle for good enough. All right. I'm going to give you 3 steps just to make this easy for you because I want to make this easy for you. Here's how you do it in a nutshell. Now, I'm not saying that it is easy to do, but I do want to make it easy to understand and like simplify it because it really isn't too much more than this. First, you have to decide to believe that great is possible. You have to decide that. And you get to decide that right now. Decide to believe that it's possible. Then you got to decide not to believe those automatic negative thoughts. Remember the episode I did on grief ants, automatic negative thoughts? You got to decide to believe that the automatic negative thoughts that pop up in your brain are nonsense. They are not the truth of who you are. You do not have to believe them. And they look like it's not possible for you. Other people can do it, but not you. You'll fail. You have all sorts of them. I know you do. You have to decide not to believe them. I also want you to not wait until you know what it's going to look like to start taking action. We don't have to know what it's going to look like. We don't have to know exactly what we want, and we certainly don't have to know how we're going to get it. But we do have to start taking action so that we can figure it out. All right? And then the 4th thing I want you to do is be willing to feel your feelings as you go along. That is the thing that will hold you back. This is why we spend so much time in Mom Goes On working on feelings, on developing the muscle, our capacity, our ability to feel feelings. Because if we don't, then we can't do the things that are outside of our primitive brain's comfort zone because we won't have the ability to allow fear to flow through and take action anyway. And that is imperative. We've got to bring the feelings with. We don't have to feel confident. We don't have to feel motivated. We have to be willing to feel scared and take action. So please don't settle for good. Go for great. I implore you. For you, not for me, for you. Decide to believe it's possible. Decide not to believe those automatic negative thoughts, those ants. Don't wait until you know exactly what you want or have the how. Just start taking action, right? And be willing to feel your feelings as you go. All right. Now that's 4 things. I'm going to give you a bonus number 5, which is get your butt inside of Mom Goes On immediately. Why are you not there? I mean it. Come. You can do this on your own. Of course you can, but it's so much more fun to do it in a community. And it's just what I love to do. And I would love to help you create great in your life. All right. So no more settling for good, ladies. Let's go get great. All right. That's what I have for you this week. I love you. You've got this. Take care. And I'll see you next week. Bye. If you like what you've been hearing on this podcast and want to create a future you can truly get excited about, even after the loss of your spouse, I invite you to join my Mom Goes On coaching program. It's small group coaching just for widowed moms like you, where I'll help you figure out what's holding you back and give you the tools and support you need so you can move forward with confidence. Please don't settle for a new normal that's less than what you deserve. Go to coachingwithkrista.com and click Work With Me for details and next steps. I can't wait to meet you.